You want to work here, get them to sign on the line which is dotted.
Welcome to the Nation of Jake on The Voice, KWAM, FM 107.9 and AM 990.
All right, welcome to it.
Yes, have some.
The Nation of Jake on The Voice, FM 107.9, AM 990, online, KWAMTheVoice.com, streaming live on YouTube. The YouTube channel, very easy to find. Nation of Jake, all one word, there on YouTube. You can also get in contact with the program. Send me a message on Facebook. Find and follow Nation of Jake there on Facebook, or you can tweet at me on the Twitter at Nation of Jake. Or if you prefer the old school way of doing things, my email address, nationofjake@gmail.com. You can write a letter if you like. I love to get a physical letter. Man, how old school is that? Where snail mail is now email and actual mail is a relic from times past. All right, 89 degrees today, cloudy with a chance of 90 degrees. Feels closer to a hundo in the great city of Memphis, which was recently named one of the worst run cities in America. Yeah, they did one of those surveys of America's best and worst run cities, and Memphis was near the top of the worst run cities and bottom of the best run cities. That's the way that works, that whole corollary. Coincidentally, the city council is meeting today. Now, the people responsible for running the city are meeting today at City Hall. I wonder if they're just going to sit around and look at this study that says Memphis is one of the worst run cities in the United States and just go, nuh-uh, no. Memphis has momentum, y'all. Memphis has momentum. So I'm almost certain that is not good news for Mayor
Mr. Strickland.
Jim Strickland. That said, it's just one of these goofy surveys. We'll get into that in a little bit and some of the good stuff Memphis is doing. We like to get the yin and the yang in the Nation of Jake. Oh, the fun-loving nerds at NASA, they're at it again. We talk about NASA a lot because I still think that space is fascinating. I'm not on board with going to Mars unless it's just a jumping off point to go get that big space gold nugget that's hanging out between Mars and Jupiter. All that said, I'm not sure how NASA is going to get us there. NASA, it has come out, made a giant mistake. Huge mistake. We'll talk about NASA's big mistake in a little bit. I will leave that on the agenda. And also the 4th of July, the upcoming holiday, the plans for not just around here, but in Washington, D.C. Donald Trump is always causing controversy. He wants tanks in the parade, which you might think that could turn into a Tiananmen Square situation, given how many people would love to protest Trump. And I'm almost certain that a protester would love to get a photo op standing in front of Donald Trump's tanks on the National Mall. But it's not going to be like that. I don't think that we will see that coming up on Thursday for the 4th of July. Big congratulations. Biggest story of the day. You're going to see this all over social media. People are going to be arguing about this all day long. Congratulations to Colin Kaepernick, who has just been named Nike's Chief Product Officer. Yeah, Phil Knight, the CEO of Nike, is running all his decisions through Colin Kaepernick right now. This is another flag controversy. We've seen these before. Rebel flag controversy, rainbow flag controversy. We love to get outraged about flags, don't we? What does that flag represent? That flag implicitly condones slavery. So here we go. Here's the story that you may have seen last night. Headline: Nike pulls sneakers with Betsy Ross American flag after Colin Kaepernick complains. Nike is pulling the shoes featuring an early American flag after former NFL football player Colin Kaepernick told the company it shouldn't sell a shoe that he and others consider offensive. That's right. I'm Colin Kaepernick. I am all things flag. I am the purveyor of flag etiquette. And that flag offends me and some people I know. Not only does it offend me, my friends think it's offensive too. Therefore, pull all these shoes off the shelves, Nike. And Phil Knight and the Nike crew, they bow down. Oh, they kneel. They kneel before Zod. Oh, yes, Mr. Kaepernick. Whatever you say, Mr. Kaepernick. You are now our moral compass, Colin Kaepernick. Nike shares were falling less than 1% in pre-market trading following the news. Shares had closed Monday up nearly 2% and have rallied 15% this year. So they're looking at the bottom line. What does this mean for Nike stock? How will people react? Now, Kaepernick reportedly contacted Nike officials saying he and others felt the Betsy Ross flag, featuring 13 stars in a circle, on the shoes was linked to a period of slavery. The Betsy Ross flag is one type that was flown during the American Revolution, and the shoes were set to be released in celebration of the 4th of July holiday. All right, so you've got this flag, 13 stars in a circle in the blue field, along with the 13 red and white stripes. It looks very much like our current flag, but instead of 50 stars all lined up, you've got a circle of 13 stars. Back in the 1770s, 1780s, 1790s, you had a lot of different iterations of the American flag. There was not one consistent design until much later. A lot of different flags were flown during that time. It was a period of American Revolution. There was not any machinery to mass produce these flags. There was no design firm that you went back and forth to make a bunch of changes. There wasn't Photoshop. There were no mock-ups, really, other than hand drawings. And so this Betsy Ross flag, by the way, there's very little evidence it was designed by Betsy Ross. Sure, at the time, she was an upholsterer, and she probably, did some seamstressing, and she probably made some flags. But the legend of Betsy Ross, she was like the first female figure of the revolution. And we tell the story to our kids. We got Betsy Ross, sitting in a rocking chair, she's just going sewing, knitting this flag. It didn't happen that way. But that said, a Betsy Ross flag, you could argue or just infer that this is honoring a great lady of the American Revolution. Right? Couldn't you? But no. Colin Kaepernick doesn't like it. It offends him. Now, the flag's design, created back in the 1770s to represent the original 13 colonies, has since been associated with white supremacy. Dun, dun, dun. Yeah, it's been associated with white supremacy because I guess some white kids at a football game flew the flag at one point. That's what it says. The superintendent of a school district in Michigan apologized after students at a predominantly white high school waved the Betsy Ross flag during a football game. At the time, a local chapter of the NAACP said the Betsy Ross flag was being appropriated by some extremist groups opposed to diversity in the U.S. We've talked about these extremist groups before. They number very few. Not just the groups, but the members. Remember the story back from a few months ago? One of the biggest white supremacist groups in the country numbered 40 members. That's one of the biggest groups. 40 members. And just because even if they did take this flag and they flew it at a football game or at a rally, it doesn't change the fact that it was a flag of the country of the time attributed to Betsy Ross, right? How about when there was that story about New Balance shoes being the preferred shoe of white supremacy? Yeah, remember that? Yeah, the whole thing was, white supremacists wear New Balance. They've appropriated that whole brand. New Balance. NB. What could that stand for? Ooh, we're not going to get into that on this radio program. So, Nike, as a result of Colin Kaepernick, former San Francisco 49ers quarterback Colin Kaepernick, has decided to pull all the shoes off the shelves. They had already sent them out to retailers. But Nike, in a statement, says Nike has chosen not to release the Air Max 1 Quick Strike 4th of July as it featured an old version of the American flag. So they're trying to wipe the shoes from the market, much like, as a country, we're trying to wipe anything pre-1865 from our history. Nike has asked retailers to return the shoes after they were shipped. The company did not explain why. They are currently unavailable on Nike's mobile apps like Sneakers and its website, but pairs of the shoes have already gotten out. That's right. They've made their way to the sneakerheads. And as there being value and scarcity, and all those white supremacists who just need the shoes, they're going as much as $2,500 on StockX's website. Sneakerheads, man, rare Nikes. That's like the holy grail for a sneakerhead. Get your hands on some of those. So, yeah, you know Kaepernick, he's the kneeler. Now he's the woke tastemaker. And he's decided that the shoe offends him, the Betsy Ross flag, and therefore Nike bows down. Whatever you say, Colin, we're not going to release these. Which could be the best thing for the shoe on the secondary market, right? It's also going to ruffle feathers on social media, and everyone you know is going to have an opinion on this flag, what it means, and we're going to relitigate Colin Kaepernick, the whole kneeling thing, who's right here, who's wrong here. Nike can do whatever they want. Nike can pull the shoes and then deal with all the blowback, and then we'll decide that this is not a big deal at all, and everybody will forget, and they'll still go buy their Air Force Ones and their Jordans or whatever it is they love about Nike. Nike fans, people who love Nikes, are not going to stop buying Nikes because of this. Casual shoe buyers who are against the move, they might say, you know what? If given the choice between Nike and Adidas, I'll buy Adidas now. Or I'll buy Asics. Back to the basics, running my Asics. That's what I wear. I wear strictly green Asics. I have never known Asics to make any political statements whatsoever. I could be wrong. I like the Tigers, the Asic Tigers, the ninja shoes. Dig those. So, Kaepernick being a Nike spokesman, I guess his words carry more weight with Nike. And now we've got all the politicians getting involved. Ted Cruz, Republican senator from Texas, says it's a good thing Nike only wants to sell sneakers to people who hate the American flag. Arizona Governor Doug Ducey says he will now order the state's Commerce Authority to withdraw all financial incentive dollars for Nike. They were going to open up a plant there in Arizona. Now they're not going to get their incentives. I don't think that's the best move either. Think about it. Nike can do what they want, but we have all this legislation to protect Chick-fil-A and whatnot. Now they've got views, a Christian company. So you've got a bunch of governors and mayors trying to block Chick-fil-A, take away their incentives over what they believe.